Lesson 36 useDebugValue. 1. Introduction. Hello everyone. Today we'll explore a lesser-known yet valuable tool within the React ecosystem, the hook called useDebugValue. Though it may seem minor at first glance, it plays an important role in improving developer experience, especially when building custom hooks for shared libraries or complex logic. My goal is to walk you through what it is, why it matters, how it works conceptually, and when you should use it. 2. What is useDebugValue? The hook useDebugValue is a tool that allows you to attach a label or debug value to your custom hook in React. In practical terms, when you open your React Dev Tools and inspect a component that uses your custom hook, you'll see a human-readable description rather than just obscure internal values. This improves introspection, diagnostics, and understanding of what your hook is doing. 3. Why does it matter? You might ask, isn't it enough to just rely on console logs or plain state values? Well, in many simple cases that's true, but when you're building reusable, sophisticated hooks, ones that maintain internal state, read from subscriptions or context, transform data, or combine multiple concerns, the ability to quickly inspect the meaning of that hook state in DevTools becomes a real productivity boost. It helps both you and other team members, or future you, to immediately understand what's going on. In addition, you avoid the need to scatter console logs, decorate state variables manually, or guess the meaning of a Boolean or array when viewing a component tree. 4. How does it work, conceptually? At a high level, using useDebugValue means that at the top level of your custom hook you signal to React, here is a value I'd like to show in DevTools when someone inspects a component using this hook. You provide that value, and optionally a formatting function that transforms it into a more readable presentation. When DevTools is rendering the component tree, if it sees that hook, it will call that formatting function, if provided, with the raw value and then display the result. What's important is that your hook remains declarative and free of side effects. For this purpose, you're not mutating state just to enable debugging. Instead, you're signaling metadata to the development tool. Also worth noting, if there is no formatting function, the raw value is displayed. If you do supply a formatter, it only executes when DevTools inspects the hook, meaning you avoid wasting performance on formatting when not needed. 5. When should you use it? Here are some guidelines. Use it when you create a custom hook that will be used by others, in a component library, for example, or by future maintainers. Use it when the internal value of the hook is non-trivial, for instance an object with nested state, a subscription status, or some transformation, and its meaning is not immediately obvious. Avoid using it for every trivial hook, for example a hook that simply forwards a Boolean flag. Doing so can clutter DevTools. The documentation explicitly advises, don't add debug values to every custom hook. Use the formatting option when computing the human-readable form is somewhat expensive or you only want to perform it when needed. 6. Best practices and tips. Keep the debug label meaningful. The value you pass should reflect the semantic state of the hook, not just raw data. For example, instead of passing an object with 1,000 fields, pass the key logical outcome, such as connected versus disconnected. If you supply a formatter, ensure it's efficient and decisive in its output, because DevTools may call it when inspecting. Place the call to useDebugValue at the top level of your hook function, just like other hooks, so that the hook rules are respected. Remember, this is purely development tooling. It doesn't affect production behavior, logic, state transitions, or rendering. It's orthogonal to the core functionality of your hook. 7. Summary. In summary, the hook useDebugValue is a simple yet effective way to improve observability of custom hooks within React DevTools. It allows you to attach semantic labels or formatted values to your hook's internal state, making inspection and debugging much easier. Use it thoughtfully for custom hooks that benefit from better introspection, but avoid overusing it for trivial cases. When applied correctly, it enhances maintainability and developer experience without introducing runtime overhead for the user. 8. Conclusion. Thank you for your attention. As you build more advanced hooks and component abstractions, I encourage you to incorporate useDebugValue as part of your tooling mindset. It may not change what your code does, but it changes how easily you and your team can understand what your code is doing. If you like, in our next session we can explore a few real patterns and walk through live inspection of custom hooks in DevTools, again without heavy code, focusing on architecture and discipline. Looking forward to your questions.